What's it like to be in a coma, chat? My personal prediction is it feels like a blip in time. I'm interested to see if they can tell when someone's interacting with them while they're in a coma, or if they're even a little bit conscious.
So I was in a coma. Great conversation starter, I know. It's a complicated story. I had a surgery and it went bad and I got an infection and it attacked my lungs, and so then induced coma. So it was something called a medically induced coma. So I didn't just pass out.
Oh.
They actually gave me drugs and continuously gave me drugs for a good 2 weeks.
Wait, so she wasn't in like one of those comas you get in when you're in a big injury or car accident. She was literally purposefully put into a coma. That's exactly what they did to Ben Askren. That's what I was talking about. Like, he had lung problems and they needed to do a lung transplant, so they put him in a medically induced coma. This is what he looked like afterwards.
Weeks or so that I could be in this sleep state and they could try and heal me and get me to live. So many dreams, so many stories.
Oh,
so
really?
Here we go.
No way.
What it's like being in a coma.
She had dreams.
First things first, everything that happens in the real world, you hear, you're aware of, you kind of know what's going on.
No
But
way.
it goes through this weird like filter thing in your brain, and by filter I mean it's going through the drugs, and then it turns into something else once it like actually hits your consciousness. So example, I know a lot of people would come to visit and sit by my bed and talk
Time
to
out,
me. I heard
yo, shark, you're pissing me off. Yo, time out, shark. No, genuinely, time out, shark. I'm not even joking.
Example, I know a lot of people would come to visit and sit by my bed and talk to me. I heard my stepmom and my own nanny talking and all of that, and I heard what they were saying, but then in my head, we were in like a girls' camp, like one of those like log cabin camps, and they were gossiping about one of the other girls. Really, they were just talking about like one of the nurses and something she had said, but like in my head they were like gossiping, and I was like in on it too. I was talking back to them, but I wasn't actually talking, and sometimes this messes me up so much when I'm going.
I'm not gonna lie, dude, I experience this with dreams too. If there's like people talking around me while I'm in like a deep sleep or like a dreaming state, I low-key sometimes incorporate whatever they're saying into my dream. And then it's like, what the hell? How'd you enter my dream? Take in when you're in a coma, chat, you're just in creative mode in your head for like a month. It's just like watching like crazy amounts of movies and stuff. I'm not saying it's good to be in a coma, but
and looking back like on the whole experience, I remember so clearly saying something back to them and being like, oh yeah, that Peggy. I didn't say anything, so it was like all a weird conversation in my head with everyone, and I wasn't even talking.
Y'all ever in those dreams and then like you just do something absolutely absurd just for the heck of it? If I can control myself, I always just try to throw it off like crazy. Like I'll grab someone by the leg and just like, for no reason.
Uncomfortable positions that they would put me in, my brain would make up a story for why I was in those positions. At one point, they had to actually tilt the bed in something called Trendelenburg, which is like literally tipping you upside down. So there I was, like upside down and like swollen.
See, like they're making up new words and it's pissing me off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, just a tiny bit. Trendelenburg. You genuinely could have just said you're upside down. Yo, who made that, bro? Joe Trendelenburg?
Positions. At one point, they had to actually tilt the bed in something called Trendelenburg, which is like literally tipping you upside down. So there I was, like upside down and like swollen like a balloon at that point. And in my head, I was like going in this weird like hammock thing. And then I remember I got like my foot caught in the hammock, and so I was like hanging upside down.
No way.
And I was like, this is so weird, why can't I move? Like I should just be able to pull myself up. But then logic doesn't really work very well.
Wait, so it's not only the people talking around her, it's also like the position she's in. So example, if they tilt her upside down, that incorporates into her brain as well. Like she's still semi-conscious when she's in a coma. That's kind of wild. What if Oz is in a coma? Yo, how would I be in perch on my chair talking if I was in a coma?
The best part though, and the thing that kind of inspired a whole trip after I got out of the coma, was all of my Alaska hallucinations. I've never been to Alaska. I've never like shown any interest in Alaska. But for some reason, while I was asleep, I kept going to Alaska in my head, and it was so beautiful. It was like pine trees and coves, and I remember just like sitting there and just like staring at the most beautiful scenery ever for hours and hours, and there'd be like a little deer off in the corner, and it would be freezing cold, but I didn't care. Turns out I was getting ice packed the whole time, so I had a...
No, I knew it was something like this. Yo, I knew it was something like this, bro. There's no way that's your destination your brain goes to naturally. Alaska, you could literally choose anywhere. You could go to somewhere fictional, and you chose Alaska. No, it's because she was being ice packed. That makes sense.
Crazy high fever with a crazy high infection, and what they do for that is they put ice packs all around you. Like that's literally like the most advanced thing they can come up with. So being iced, I guess somewhere.
She's like very happy. No, I swear it's like you can find a pattern. People that go through like near-death experiences or anything where it's like high-risk situation and they come out alive, they always appreciate life a lot more. I don't know if you guys seen the one guy that jumped off a bridge midair. He like regretted it. He's like, why did I do that? And then after, bro, he realized how fragile life is and like how much value it has.
Like ice, Alaska, totally makes sense. One of the funny things too was the way that people's voices, like if I liked the person who was talking and I felt safe there, it would affect what was going on in my head. And I didn't notice this at the time, but like once I came out, I kind of like studied the whole experience. But every time it was my mom or my dad or people that I loved, it was someplace beautiful and it was comforting. And when it was people that I just kind of barely knew, it was always strange and I had no idea where I was and I felt kind of lost. And actually got me thinking a lot about how that happens on a regular basis, even when we're not on crazy drugs. Like how do the people that we're around and the experience that we're in influence our brain and our minds and how we see the world? Like pretty much
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, she saw the back rooms. Some random's talking to her and she feels like she's like in like level 5 of the back rooms. She's like in that one level where it's like the liminal pool space. Which pool would you swim in for $1 million?
Coma is just like a very magnified and intense version of our own dreams. And so what can we
That's
learn
kind of
from it?
dope.
What can we learn about ourselves? And I learned so much from that experience. I mean, first of all, that I love Alaska, apparently. But second of all, I really love, like, it showed me who I care about and who makes me happy and how the world can be manipulated so easily and how our own minds can be manipulated and we can really believe so much. I don't know, talking about it kind of.
Yo, bro, what do you mean blow your nose? She literally has an oxygen tube going up her nose.
And we can really believe so much. I don't know, talking about it kind of makes me happy in a weird way. You wouldn't think that, but yeah. So if you have any more.
Yeah, that's what happens, man. You look back on those times fondly. Kind of how I loved COVID-19. I pray to never be in a coma, but that experience does sound cool. I can't even lie. Chat, instead of getting into a coma, what I advise you to do is teach yourself how to lucid dream. It's way less harmful to yourself.